Welcome back, everyone, to the next installment of The Letter. It looks like we closed our sale. Wonderful news. And she, Rose, throws a wave over her shoulder as she rushes out of the office. She has business to attend to, so... The lunchtime bell sounds shortly after, followed by the chatter of fellow agents also heading out for a much-needed break. Ordinarily, there's no need for me to go out. But oversleeping didn't allow me the luxury of packing my own lunch today. If one considers taking an instant noodle cup from my pantry, packing your lunch. Time to make good on the promise I made to Becca, I suppose? Maybe invite Zach and Ash, too. In the end, only Becca and Zach could come. Ash, on the other hand, couldn't be reached. All of my calls went straight to his voicemail. He's at it again. Right here today, gone the next day. Oh well, his loss. We have agreed to meet at a nearby cafe, the same one I frequent with Becca because it's cheap and they give away free bread around closing time. Oh, here we go. Ooh, I sure want the Exospresso and the Zarpacino. That's right, this wasn't Starbucks, this was, excuse me, Zarbucks. So Zarpacino. Okay, Zarfe latte. I get it. Quaint, a little old-fashioned, though it looks a wee bit out of place amidst the city's tall buildings, but we love it all the same. Much like its facade, the interior carries an antiquated charm to it. Vintage art pieces and a row of shelves boasting an extensive collection of books cover the walls. It would have been nice to hang out here for hours on end, but even on a weekend, the place is still packed with people. Thankfully, Becca and Zach have already found seats and are engaged in some casual chatter when I arrive. It's strange seeing the two of them without Ash accompanying the other. They've never been particularly close. Sure, they talk when they meet, laugh at the same things when there's something funny, but there's distance, the kind born purely out of differing interests. That or Zach simply afraid of Becca. It's not impossible, and I won't blame him if he is. He might be the tallest in our group, but everyone knows that it means nothing against Becca's temper. Even I'm a little scared of her.
Zach! Becca! Well, you seem to be in a better mood today. What happened? I know that smile, Belle. Come on, still!
Don't rush me. Let's order food first, okay?
A waitress comes by to take our order. On a normal day, me will order a hearty serving. Becca and I will order a hearty serving of the special vegetarian stovies. Zach takes anything with a good helping of meat, sausages, or potatoes in it. But today is a good day. Great, even. It's not wrong to indulge a little, right?
Today's special. For the three of us.
Even the person jotting down our order looks surprised at today's meal choice. She writes it, nevertheless, and leaves without a comment. Becca furrows her eyebrows, her mouth halfway open, ready to let loose what's likely a string of reprimands.
Don't worry. It's my treat.
The glare she sends my way reminds me of the one I received from Mama when I punched a kid bullying my younger brother 18 years ago. Naturally, I never did it again after she made me apologize the next day. Really? But Becca's far from being my mom. A small sheepish grin is enough to turn that frown into a defeated sigh. Food arrives in the middle of a funny story from Zach, putting the rest of the conversation on hold as we are each served our order. It isn't anything fancy. Pan-roasted sea bass with citrus-dressed asparagus and a portion of mashed potatoes on the side, or at least that's what the daily special board says. Specials board. I never did pay attention to it whenever I come here, since they price whatever's written way above what I'm willing to spend on food in a single day.
Oh, good. I'm so hungry, I think I'm dying.
You're always hungry.
Hey! Not all the time.
Let me guess. You skipped breakfast again.
Not on purpose. I may have overslept by a few seconds today.
Right then. Stop stalling, Isabella. What's this about?
Let us say, Rebecca. She wouldn't be inviting us out if it wasn't worth hearing out.
Well, we're waiting.
I'm treating you guys to a once-in-a-century thing.
An expectant grin breaks out of my face, except...
I'm sorry, say that again.
And this is important because...
Becca only raises an eyebrow at me while Zach appears like he didn't get the punchline to another lame joke Ash made and is desperately searching for someone to explain it. My instant noodle days are over! Ash is not here, so we should celebrate. Yeah, definitely the top one. What the hell?
Okay, let me do that again.
Yeah, of course it's plus for both. Why would I randomly crack on Ash? Okay, let me do that again.
Guess what, guys? I'm paying! I sold the house!
As the news sinks in, their expression goes from sheer bewilderment to utter surprise. That's more like it.
You heard me right, ladies and gentlemen. As of today, I'm Maria Isabella Grace Cruz Santos and free from my instant noodle binge.
Seriously?
Hold it, Belle. You sold the house?
Yep.
Which house is this? In Anslem Village? The one with the open house yesterday?
The one and only. Come on, Becca. I know you've got a better memory than that.
Oh, wow. That's...
She lets out a hum. Although she's nodding, she gives the impression of someone who has heard something unbelievable and is still forcing her brain to absorb it. Did she think we wouldn't be able to sell it? Have some faith in me, Becca. Am I not your best friend or what? I know, but really Rose did the selling, didn't she? We kind of came in at the end there, but we had to take a step out.
You don't believe me?
The words tumble out of my mouth before I could stop them. I've been trying to avoid bringing up yesterday's little spat, and judging from the looks on their faces, it seems they are too. Me and my stupid mouth.
I'm sure it ain't the way you're thinking, Bella.
No, I do believe you. But don't you think the sale happened a bit too fast? The open house only started yesterday, and now you already have a buyer?
That is weird, but like, we did sell the place. We're good.
It happens from time to time.
Yeah, but look, I'm happy for you. Just yesterday, you've been really worried where to get money for your dad's new treatment. And now, all of a sudden, you have something. What if the sale doesn't push through, or I don't know, they're a fraud, or they suddenly back out?
Yeah, like I said last time, don't count your chickens, but still, they did just give us a bunch of cash. I can at least spend a little of that.
Isn't it a little too early to celebrate?
Rebecca does have a point, Bella. If you haven't closed the deal yet, there's still a chance they'll go back on it.
They don't seem like it to me. The lady appeared to really want it, and she approached me without even finishing the tour.
Again, true. But if you've been working in real estate for 5 years, you should probably know that, like, this is how you get paid. Wait for a sale to go through before you consider it a sale. Pressured me into it, more like. But I'm not going to tell Becca about that. Knowing her, she'd only worry.
And she already hired someone to handle the house's interior design.
Also true, but still...
You're joking. Who would do that?
The Wrights, apparently. It's actually pretty funny. She's a bit too excited to get the property, she forgot to buy it. At any rate, they've already signed the agreement today, so it's just a matter of time. And don't tell anyone about this, but Ma'am Hannah also gave us something extra.
Something as in...
As in, it's why I can treat you two to a free meal.
I'm most surprised you accepted it.
She didn't really give us a choice in the matter. So don't lose sleep over this, okay? The couple really want the house. If Rose didn't stop them, they'd likely have paid up front for it yesterday.
The couple wants the house. They're acting as a unit.
That's despite the legends, too. I even tried to show them the letter. But nope. I want this house, darling. Go take all our money.
You don't really think they believe that, do you? I'm pretty sure for them, those are just rumors as well. No one is that superstitious in this day and age, Belle. Well, there's you.
Ooh.
Right. You know what? I'll just eat all of these by myself.
I begin to gather their plates to my side. Wow, she's not messing. The food in each, still untouched. A laugh almost escapes my mouth with the way Zach's expression quickly changes to disappointment. Becca's hand interrupts me just as I'm about to pull her plate closer to me.
I'm kidding. Don't go all pouty on me again. I'm just concerned you'll get hurt if this doesn't happen. I know how badly you want to close this deal for your papa.
I'm sure he's gonna be fine now, though, with the money. They don't know yet. I think I'll call them tomorrow. Let them know things will be easier. Mama said this morning he's showing progress with the new treatment, too. It's just a matter of time.
I allow myself to smile, genuine and uninhibited. It's strange talking about this with other people, even those who have known you long enough. But today, things simply feel a whole lot lighter with them here. Lunch passes in an enjoyable fashion. A laugh here, a playful jab there, but most of it is spent on catching up and telling stories about whatever's keeping us busy these days. Something we couldn't afford to do the day before, taking into account what happened. Even Becca's surprisingly chatty. Is there something in the sea bass we ate? Zach, though, appears less energetic. While he's far from being the life of a party, he's definitely not the type to keep quiet in a conversation with his friends. Apart from a few inputs, he's been silent the entire time. If Becca notices...
Are you sure you're not feeling under the weather, Zachary?
Huh? No, I'm okay. No worries, Rebecca.
Doesn't sound okay to me.
It's okay. I might be feeling a little bummed out today, but I'm sure this will pass.
Oh, his movie didn't win.
Is it about the reviews this morning?
A pained expression crosses Zach's face, and almost immediately, Becca retreats in her inquiry, as though the man's look is enough of an answer for her. I look between the two of them. Did I miss something? What happened this morning? Are you kidding me? Like, Becca just straight up... Okay, fine. Did I stumble on a big secret? This is why I don't like waking up late.
You heard about those, huh?
Sorry, I just happened to check on some sites this morning.
Nah, it's a very sensitive topic in the first place. I should have expected it.
What reviews?
Come on. Becca glances at Zach, her motions unsure, eyes asking for his consent to the matter. Although there's a small desire to keep asking on my part, I don't dare voice it out. With Zach, it has always been better to wait, let him speak on his own. Becca too, to some extent, although with her, explosions of temper are more common. In the end, he simply answers with a shift of his shoulders, gesturing for her to go on with a tilt of his head.
It's his movie.
That doesn't explain anything. Stop dangling the information, Becca!
Really? Really? Okay, Becca, step 1, why don't you define what a review is? Step 2, why don't you tell us what was being reviewed? And step 3, explain how this in some way connects to Zach, because I just can't put it together.
Zachary, I'm not the one supposed to be telling her about this. It's still your documentary.
Is it something bad?
Oh my god. Alright.
Not bad per se. You guys don't need to dwell on it much.
Bad? Listen here. I wouldn't trivialize what those bowheads wrote if I were you. They're ruining other people's jobs.
I've never heard that one before. From how her tone rises in anger, it seems like she's the one slighted and not Zach. A snicker escapes me, which I promptly stamp down on as soon as she sends me a hard look.
This isn't a laughing matter, Isabella. Some bowbag just insulted him.
Calm down, Rebecca. Those are just reviews, and it happens a lot.
I do not ken about you two, but calling the entire film an out-and-out dribble, you're better off watching an educational kids' TV show, and worst 1.5 hour of my life, among other things, isn't exactly a critique any decent movie reviewer would say.
You know, she was being delicate earlier, but this is taking it too far in the other direction. Like, wow. Also, is she Scottish then?
If you could call that a critique! Did we even watch the same film?
Well, maybe I ain't cut out for it. Better stick with my photography or something. If nothing else, this helped me open my eyes to what I can and can't do.
It's one review though. Like, you don't know who that reviewer is necessarily. Unless they do in universe and I don't know.
You're giving up.
It wasn't a question.
It was just something experimental I did on my free time anyway. It's no big deal.
But you worked on it for months.
Doesn't look like it matters for those people.
Don't say that!
My palm strikes the table, sending the tableware on top clinking against each other. I didn't even notice when I rose from my seat. But here I am, chest heaving, looking down at him in the same manner a teacher would at any unruly student. Becca's probably proud. I didn't mean to yell, but there are some things people like Zach aren't supposed to say. How exasperating. How vexatious. He of all people should know.
It's just a review.
Except they're pretty well-known critics.
Oh, okay. Well...
Why does that matter? They aren't the ones calling the shots on this. Isn't that why they have a committee? Right, Becca?
An amused gleam is in her eyes when I turn to her. You know, something occurs to me. We, of course, saw every character in the anime intro to this game, and they're all in the front hall of the mansion, which means that Zach's there too. Is he going to use this opportunity to do some sort of ghost movie? You know, ooh, maybe this house is haunted. I'm actually curious as to how we get Zach into the building. What does she find so entertaining here? Help me here, your friend's about to quit his passion for a petty reason. I haven't read what those people wrote about his work, but a few scathing words shouldn't be enough to discourage someone. I should know. After all, I'm...
Failing means you're playing, Zach. Not that I'm saying it's bad. I've seen it from start to finish, and I know for myself what you created isn't something people should scoff at. I don't know anything about filming or photography. Hell, I don't have an inkling of artistry in me except for those doodles I make for class. But I know what I watched. Look at Isabella. It's not every day you see her all riled up like this.
Whatever I'm about to say gets lost in my tongue as a flush of embarrassment blooms across my face.
It was a heat of the moment thing. And anyway, I'll be very angry with you if you quit. What about the exhibit?
What exhibit?
Classified information.
Even if I bring you your favorite tonight?
Nope, not a chance.
Oh, come on! I thought we aren't supposed to have secrets.
A burst of laughter comes from Zach.
Thanks, you two. I might need some time alone to myself for a while. Just to think about things, how I'll go from here, that sort of stuff. Hey, I'm not quitting, Bella. Don't give me that face.
There's no face at all, only a poor imitation of a puppy dog eyes, if you could call this one.
Promise?
I'll be damned if I break any promise I make to you guys. Besides, you're right. It's too early to say anything right now. Awards night ain't for another week.
That's okay. So it's not a matter of not winning yet, we haven't even gotten to that point. And that's all the answer I need from him. As sentimental as it sounds, there's fulfillment in knowing another person you know won't take the same path you've walked. It's not like it's over for me, though. I still have time. I could still come back. Do my own thing. Do what I really want to do. Surely, once Papa recovers. Once I'm done with everything. Inside my bag, my phone buzzes unexpectedly, breaking the pleasant afternoon lull. If you could call this heated discussion a lull. The screen shows Rose. Yeah, but who is it really?
Hey, Isabel. You at the office?
Ha ha. Very funny, Rose. I'm hanging up.
Don't, I'm kidding. BRC says the floor plan copies are ready for Miss McCullough to pick up.
She states that as if it already explains everything. Then, out of the blue, she launches a long rant about the awful state of Luxburn's streets. All of which she says in a single breath that I can barely keep up with, and make out a single word. Of. I stay quiet, if only to avoid becoming the next object of her frustration. She's similar to Becca in that regard.
I'm stuck in horrendous traffic right now. Bloody stupid drivers.
When she has finally run out of things to complain about and stops, what she says next still has none of what I'm hoping to hear from her. Just a quick mumbled plea for me to meet the Wright's interior designer in her stead, and
Anyway, I'll leave it to you. Bye. Thanks.
Damn, she is talking a lot if she cut off my thoughts. Classic Rose. She ends the call without even asking for my input. The sky is cloudless and the noontime sun is beating down on the hard concrete when we leave the cafe. It's far from unbearable, but it's enough to put most people in a fickle mood, or make them vulnerable to catching something. No wonder we have staff members going AWOL lately, not to mention my boss's mercurial moods. There's an interesting choice of words. So what is that supposed to mean? Like fickle, like because Mercury is Quicksilver? Is that what we're getting at here? That's interesting. I haven't heard it used that way before. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I want our usual cloudy weather back. For all the gripes about the unpredictable weather, though, the street of Luxburn remains constantly busy. The hurried tapping of shoes against the pavement and inane chatter coming from the lunchtime crowd fill the humid afternoon air. A small reminder of the things we still have to do, regardless of how much I want to return to the comfort of my bed. Back to Briar Realty for me, Zach to a meeting with the magazine publisher featuring luxury houses, and Becca to her lesson plans and books at home. But, more than once I catch her sneaking a longing glance over something displayed on a shop window. Does she want to buy something? Maybe I can get it for her this Christmas. I turn my head to the last shop she checked out. Sir Antiques, Mrs. Flowers, that's all I see. A fleeting glimpse. The world stills. Oh God. I did not expect that. She looks at me, eyes hollow, gaze piercing, and boring into my very soul, like a set of chains to keep my whole body still. So we're doing grudge rules then? It doesn't matter what time of day it is or who you're with, this thing just shows up? That sucks. There are no shadows or whispers this time. Only a plea. A hum. Low and indistinct. compelling me, beckoning me, intent on dragging me to the void beyond the glass. You know, through the looking glass. I don't dare move. You know, this reminds me, this is a weird thing to bring up, but has anybody seen Stir of Echoes? Remember Stir of Echoes with Kevin Bacon, I think? It's one of those spooky ghost movies. Why do the ghosts have to scare the living daylights out of you and look like they want murder when all they want is your help? If they had just shown up and told me what was going on, that'd be one thing, but no, it has to look like they're trying to kill me first. My heart hammers against my ribs. Each beat, every thump screaming at me to look away and make a run for it. But I can't. I couldn't. All of my limbs feel heavy, while my own breathing strains in the face of her calls.
Leave me alone.
Her mouth is stretched in a grin, wide and unpleasant. The panic building up in my chest forces me to take a tentative step back. I try not to stare at the decaying flesh, the blood streaming from the gaping wounds on her arm, or her nail-less fingers. Maybe I'm glad I can't see that. I don't want this. This is a perfect out-of-context screen cap. I don't want this. Not like this. Not after I got what I want for Papa.
No, no, stop. Leave me alone.
Jeez. Her face contorts and she lets out a wail, sharp and utterly unforgiving. Rage. There is only hatred and bitterness, as if the very notion of turning away from her is an offense in itself.
Please! I don't want this!
Before I know it, I'm stumbling backwards. My own throat, hoarse from the screams I didn't even notice, are already coming out of my mouth. This is gonna be one of these stories where I just... What is it like? Like the Devil's Advocate, where you see some terrifying thing in the mirror, but nobody else does, and they're like, okay, well, eventually we're gonna need to take you to a mental institution because you were just shrieking at apparently nothing. The back of my feet catches? I guess the backs of my feet catch on a loose stone, sending me sprawling on the ground. The resulting pain completely jolts me out of the haze, blurring my mind. For a little while, my surroundings appear unfamiliar until Becca's face swims into my vision. A look of concern is on her face, and her hands are gripping my arms tight. Even Zach appears beside himself with worry while he stands behind her, acting as a shield against a small crowd of onlookers already forming around us.
What happened?
Bella, you okay?
My mouth opens and closes, but nothing comes out. The words refuse to form. On impulse, I sneak a swift glance at the display window. You fool! She's gone. I was thinking it'd be like It, where she's just waving at me, like, hey, you like that? Yet the foreboding feeling hasn't left me. My hands are shaking as I push myself off the ground, my weakened limbs relying solely on reflex and muscle memory. Something icy has made its home in the pit of my stomach. I want to throw up, anything to get the wretched sensation out.
You were screaming. Zach, call someone!
No, don't. I'm good. I'm good. I need to get to the office. Rose, the floor plans. Someone's going to pick it up. I'll see you later.
Careful. Don't stand up yet. Stay put, Isabella. Zach, you watch over her for me. I'll call for someone.
I attempt to smile to put her at ease, but it likely comes off as a grimace. Gently, I pushed her hands off my shoulders. Shouldn't it be push? We're changing tenses. My knees are, see, still trembling, but I can stand. Leave. Leave me. Stay away. Away. The humidity's stifling, everyone's stares are unnerving, and Becca and Zach's concerns are suffocating. I don't want to be here. No more. I break into a run. I wish I hadn't left my bed this morning. I guess we took care of what we needed to do, but now we're alone in a dark room, even if it's our room, and there are windows and TV and a computer screen. We got a lot of reflective surfaces here. Here, with only the occasional drips of water on the sink and the whirring of the fan blades to keep me company, it's easy to fall into a cycle of negative thinking. But even with the clutter to keep me company, the room still feels a whole lot bigger than usual. I hug my knees closer as a group passes by outside. Loud. So loud. If only there were a way to tune everything out, to keep my head from replaying every image, every sound of her. Her screams, her awkward gait as she reaches for me, her bone-chilling smile, her pleas for... Oh, I really thought I was going to cut into the plea. Guess not. Enough. That's enough. A shiver passes over me, though it's not from the hair still hanging damp against my back, nor the draft that enters the room from the windows I've left wide open. Let's just pretend that that's what we're seeing here. My gaze shifts over the letter sitting on the coffee table. Its edges flutter innocuously as the wind touches it. Funny how an ordinary-looking piece of paper can bring this much trouble. The impulse to throw it away or rip it to pieces is still there. I can easily do it, but after that, what? Will she leave me? No. What about those people who have already seen it? Will they be okay? I have no idea. They don't appear to be haunted. This uncertainty gnaws at me, knowing that she's real, and might also go after the people I care about. I just wish someone would listen. Believe me. The abrupt break in the silence nearly makes me jump out of my skin. Blindly, I fish out my phone from under the mess of papers and cushions where I've carelessly thrown it before taking a shower hours ago. Zach's name flashes brightly on the screen. Is he calling because of this afternoon? Frankly, it's the last thing I want to discuss, but I did leave the two of them there without saying anything. Knowing Zach, I bet he's worried.
Hey, Zach.
Oh, good. I thought for sure you're not gonna pick up.
Sorry, it took me a while to find my phone.
No worries. You game tomorrow?
I pause. I don't recall making plans with Zach for the weekend.
Did I forget something?
Remember that guy I told you about? Back in the movies? The, priest? For the blessing? Does it ring a bell?
Oh, right. I did say that, but I didn't think he'd actually go through the trouble, especially after what happened with his film. Sometimes I forget how kind Zach can be.
Yeah, I remember. Is he fine with it?
My friend doesn't mind. We're lucky he's not busy. So, tomorrow, he'll meet us at the mansion.
Oh boy, we're going back.
Okay. Sorry for the trouble, Zach.
Hey, no problem. I'm the one who suggested it to begin with. And, well, this afternoon you did surprise us. Never seen you scream like that. You scared the hell out of Rebecca.
I guess I owe you a lot for this, huh?
Nah, we're cool. You had us worried. But I know you'll tell us about it eventually. I just want to make sure you're doing well. You left all of a sudden and you're not answering any of our calls.
He's trying to get me to talk. Normally I tell him I'm fine, say a few simple reassurances to put their minds at ease. Now nothing will form. I can't bring myself to say anything. He seems to have sensed my hesitation because he immediately changes the subject.
Yeah, anyway, I gotta go. I left something on the stove before making this call. Just soup. But it'd be embarrassing if I burned soup.
I doubt it. Ashton, on the other hand...
That would be super embarrassing.
Well, remind me to tell you about what he did with the pressure cooker next time.
Ooh, that could have been... You know, was that how they got down all over themselves? It's like detonated or... No, you wouldn't put the damn feathers in there. I have no idea how they... I'm still thinking about the chicken down or whatever he said they got on them. What happened?
Oh, damn, it overflowed. Really need to get going. Bye, Bella.
He hangs up before I can thank him. The busy tone, though muffled, echoes through the receiver. No one is saying this will work. Even I am doubtful it will. But right now, I'll take anything. Anything to get out of this nightmare. Sleep comes easier tonight. And for the first time in a long time, I dream. Oh, this'll be good. Oh, well, you know what? You got me, video games. Of clear skies, of unrestrained laughter from children playing in the streets, and of small, cramped dwellings. To an outsider, the sight does not paint a pretty picture. However, this is home to me. Sunday. Incredible, our room is in exactly the same condition it was yesterday. Morning dawns bright and clear the following day. Although the air still feels muggy and I miss the chilly autumn weather, it's one of those rare weekends when I'm up even before my alarm rings. If it weren't for Zach's call last night, I'd probably sleep in. When 9 a.m. rolls around, I am already on my way to the Ermengarde mansion. To think that I'd have to go back again. I'd be lying if I say I'm excited. I don't have to anymore. Rose happily gave me paperwork duty when I volunteered. We're on the last phase of the sale, too. Well, almost. Papers to sign, documents to finalize, various other legalities to settle with the current owner and all that. Still, never mind that its new owners want everything done within the week, when the process typically takes more than that. They want it done? We'll get it done. I really, really don't understand rich people. But money can do wonders. I won't be surprised if they'll be able to push the process just a little more, like what they did to secure the house. The point is, I'm under no obligation to return to the house anymore. Running is an option, of course. I can now move on to another property and forget everything. However, at the end of the day, it's always my conscience that wins. What if something happens to those who have seen the letter? Ash, Zach, Becca, Miss McCulloch, the Wrights. The guilt will follow me to my grave. The mansion looms as we approach. Whispers welcoming me back. Shadows calling. I hope this is the last time. Sure. Let's go with that. They are engaged in a quiet conversation when I find them in the mansion's front gardens. Hey, it's the friend. But even with familiar company, it's impossible to feel at ease here. No matter who I'm with, the feeling of being watched is there, like the very place itself is aware of its trespassers. Zach, on the other hand, doesn't seem to notice. Or he simply doesn't care. Or he's already used to it. I could never tell with him. Sometimes he's almost as hard to read as Ash. Almost. At least Zach doesn't ask for as much patience as dealing with Ash does, and that says plenty about him. Miracle of miracles how the two have ended up the best of friends. He waves at me as I approach. True to his promise, Zach has also brought his friend with him. Father Norman. Somehow I expected him to look older.
Oh, don't be surprised. They say people who have found their calling are getting younger these days.
Oh, he's good.
Sorry, Father. I didn't mean to say that out loud.
Wait, did I?
No offense taken, though I admit I'm a bit surprised. I didn't think someone would ask this house to be blessed after all these years.
You've heard of it, Father?
In passing, the occasional rumors and talk by the locals, nothing new. You don't spend years serving the church here without hearing a random hearsay here and there.
You never mentioned what you thought of those, Father.
Ah, but he who goes down to the grave does not come up. He shall never return to his house, nor shall his place know him any more.
But what I saw...
May not be what you think. It depends entirely on what you mean by it. If you're talking about spirit beings, angels, demons, then yes. Are we talking about the spirits of people who have departed? The word makes it clear that once the deceased has left us, they are gone. But of course, I didn't come here to bore you with a lecture.
No, it was enlightening, Father. Thank you.
Just remember that a God who loves his children would never let them linger once the time comes.
That's what my papa often tells me.
Your father must be a good man. He raised you well, no doubt. Well then, shall we? Regardless of what it is, I'm sure the mansion's new owners would appreciate such sincere intentions. From a stranger, no less.
He lets Zach and I walk ahead. And me. A relief. This way he won't see how tightly I'm clutching the straps in my bag. Father Norman's probably trying to put me at ease, but the worry, the cold, restless, foreboding feeling has firmly lodged itself in my stomach, making its presence known with every step we take towards the house.
Hey, you okay?
If I say it's nothing, it could put him at ease, but if he can read me, then it'll be worse. I'll just go with the top one, I'll be honest. It's hard to lie when Zach gives you that look. Yeah. It's just there. The kind that implores, a silent appeal. I'm not sure if he's even doing it consciously. Another breeze blows, and I try not to shiver, try not to listen to the voices that may or may not be there.
Ugh, this place really gives me the creeps.
It doesn't seem more than an ordinary house to me, though. Damn, I should have brought my camera with me. I saw a few areas that'd be good for a shoot.
Good, good.
You think the new owners will allow it?
Shh! What if you catch something? Or someone in one of the pictures?
It'll prove us right.
It just means they want to be seen, doesn't it?
Don't ask for it!
It's not like we can stop them if they do.
You're really not helping, Zach.
Alright, sorry. Don't worry. I don't think whatever's inside this house will do anything.
You know, Zach's attitude right now reminds me of... I forgot where this comes from. It was some philosophy. Buddhist, maybe? but it was 2 sentences that are actually pretty brilliant. If you can do something about the problem, then there's no need to worry. If you cannot do something about the problem, then there's no need to worry.
I'm here, yeah? I'll take care of them. Or I think I can.
You're not that scary, but thanks. I'll be sure to run behind you if I see one.
Ridiculous talk, though the temporary reprieve it lends is more than welcome. He offers me a smile in return, the least he could do. With the expression, maybe it wasn't there's no need to worry, it's there's no use worrying or something like that, but you get the idea. And with a slight motion of his head, he gestures for us to move ahead, while my own fears are left forgotten for the time being. The things inside my bag clatter softly against each other while I rummage for the keys to the mansion. I should have heard the telltale jiggle by now, but didn't I put it in my bag last night? Seconds later, I'm sitting on my heels, and one after another, I'm taking out everything from every pocket, every slip. It'll be a pain to put everything back later, but I'm sure it's just under these... Nothing. Oh man, of all the times to forget.
Is something the matter?
No, I'm sorry, Father. I think I left the key.
No use coming up with excuses. And right after they've both taken the time to go this far away from the city. With a heavy sigh, I grab the door handle to pull myself up, a string of apologies ready at the tip of my tongue.
Careful, Bella!
We've spoken with the current owners. Well, technically, you're not yet the owners, but...
There's brief moment. There's a brief moment of confusion. And then I'm falling. The momentum of the door swinging open pulls me back first into the mansion's foyer, before I can make sense of what's happening.
Ow, 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 my back.
Well, it's got the goofy music, or the pleasant music anyway, so I guess they opened the door for someone else, and I happen to be leaning against it.
What the? Isabella?
And there you go. No time to nurse my bruised back or make up excuses, because the next thing I know, Zach's gently pulling me up right by my arm. Rose looks down at me with a mixture of apprehension and something I couldn't quite place. I'd say it's relief, but... Ah, sheesh. Good going, Isabella, right after you volunteered to work on the papers. And standing behind her...
Ma'am Hannah! Mr. Wright!
Oh, Isabel! We always meet in the most interesting circumstances.
For real.
A complete understatement, darling. What are they doing in my house?
Abruptly, he waves his hand at Zach and Father Norman like their presence is a slight against his own.
I thought you said you wanted to do paperwork duty. What are you doing here?
Like a deer caught in the headlights. Unfair, Rose. That's putting me on the spot. And it leaves me no other choice but to answer.
The reason why I'm here?
Well, spit it out, Lily. We don't have all day.
I'm just here to make sure everything is fine before you move in.
I am so sorry, Mama. You said I'll go to hell if I lie. I likely will after this. But there's no other way. Well, it isn't entirely a lie. I am here to make sure no one disturbs them after they move in. It just so happens that what I'm checking for and trying to drive away is of the paranormal variety.
Oh? The house appears impeccably fine to me.
Mr. Wright shifts his eyes around in a careful manner, as if he's looking for faults in every crevice of the house. The grin on his face, though, when he returns his attention to me is similar to what my kuya Jordan has often given me, or had when he was up to something. Usually a scare prank that inevitably ended in me crying. I never did forget the way my brother sneered at me then. A part of me thinks that perhaps if I hadn't been the object of his mischief in childhood, I would have grown a little braver.
Come on, little Lily. Lying doesn't do that cute little face any justice. I'm a very patient man. Now, why are you really here?
Right now, in the face of an almost identical expression, perhaps even crueler than what I'm used to, the lie I told falls apart.
The truth is, I was just thinking we could have the house blessed before move-in day.
And why would we ever need to have this house blessed?
For luck and protection?
I shrink under his scrutinizing gaze. For a second, I think that he'll start shouting at me. Instead, he laughs. Not the mocking, jeering kind, but one wondering if he's hearing things right. I'd say he was amused, but I honestly couldn't understand what was so funny with what I just said. Was it really that weird? Wasn't it a custom here? I wish Becca were here to explain stuff like this.
That's rich coming from you. When we saw Devlin Court, you didn't...
It's a small custom back home. I thought it would be nice to do something that would bring positive energy to the mansion, since this place has been empty for years.
And the papers, Isabella? I hope you did those first before this.
Of course I did. It's almost done, in fact. But there are some items I still have to double-check before finalizing everything. You know I don't sign without a thorough inspection. And well, this is what this is for too. I just thought it would be more efficient to do both at the same time.
Here I thought you didn't want to go back.
A job is a job, Rose. Gotta do what you gotta do to make a living.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then go ahead. No need to be so hard on her, Rosie. I personally think it's a nice touch. I was actually thinking of the same thing, but you beat me to it.
Really?
Darling, Buttercup, please. You know these things don't work.
I freaking love the buttercup thing.
No offense meant to the holy man, of course. That does not explain the though.
Whoa. More on this at the end. All of a sudden, there's an awkward silence that even Rose, of all people, seems reluctant to break. Although a desire to do so is evident in the way her eyes nervously shift to Mr. Wright. Meanwhile, Zach's grip on my arm suddenly tightens. He doesn't say anything further, but there's a conflicted look on him when I glance up. Damn. This game was not kidding about warnings. I didn't expect anything of that kind. That's the face he makes only when he desperately wants to give someone a piece of his mind, but chooses not to do so. Mostly to avoid confrontation or fanning the flames to an argument. He has always been like this. Even among his own friends, he chooses to take a placating stance despite holding opinions of his own. Not that I won't say anything. I know Mr. Wright's a client, but you can't just say that in front of other people. In front of Zach, no less. If Ashton were here, I know he wouldn't stand for it. And neither do I. There was a reason why bullies back home never touched my younger brother again after I gave them a taste of their own medicine. He might be inches taller than me, but I'm pretty sure I could still land a hit or two. Really? You're just gonna come out swinging? Maybe. If only I'm not going to get in trouble with BRC for it. But before any punch could be thrown, Ma'am Hannah cuts in.
Lucille Mitchell Wright.
In a voice too firm, demanding his complete silence.
What?
Instead of answering, she merely crosses her arms and shoots her husband a sharp, disapproving glare. That seems to have done the trick. What is she, his mom? First, middle, and last name? He immediately shuts his mouth, but not before muttering a few inaudible words under his breath. At this, Ma'am Hannah could only sigh and roll her eyes, more than happy to get back to the topic at hand. Holy shit, that was awkward.
I'm sure she knows what she's doing, love. She got us the house, remember? Who knows what a little positive vibe can do? It could even give us what we've been eagerly waiting for all these years.
What have we been waiting for? I don't think I was ever informed of.
Nothing you should worry about right now. Anyway, we've still got a few things we need to discuss with Rosie here. Over lunch? I hope you don't mind, Isabel. We'd love to take you with us, but...
Oh, no. Go ahead, ma'am. This'll take time. That's why there's two of us working on this.
Rose looks like she's about to murder someone. Probably me. Fair enough. At least she won't have to stay in a haunted property. She's getting the better end of this deal, if anyone's going to ask me. I don't know, is the property haunted? Because the ghost can follow me to store windows.
Oh, wonderful. I hope the next time the three of us meet, it'll be over a closed deal,
Of course, ma'am. Please look forward to it.
Rose hurriedly hands me the keys to the house before leaving, mouthing reminders to secure the place and harmless threats for throwing her under the bus. I return it with a reassuring smile of my own, even if she's the one who often forgets. Sheesh. And just like that, gone. Just as quickly as they appeared, fleeting from one scene to the next and leaving me wondering if this is simply what's typical for the rich and famous. If so, I'd rather stay with my rundown apartment or our little shack back home. With that incredibly awkward moment past, it is time to stop the installment. Well, we certainly made a lot of progress today, didn't we? We actually got back to being spooked. This game is interesting at giving you a little bit of time before, well, you know, getting spooked again. It's not just one horror show after another. We got the ghost in the boutique window. And you know what? We never even found what Becca was looking at. I'd say we should check later, but what if we see the ghost again? I don't freaking know. But we got Zach and Father Norman to come by and bless the house, which was occupied. Did we not know that Rose would be there with the clients? Because this really seems like something that we should have probably known. We didn't even do the damn paperwork. We're doing everything we can to screw up this sale. But After all that, we are still not the most uncomfortable person in the room. Mr. Wright. Wow. Now, I censored that part of the conversation, of course, but that is a very sensitive issue, and the game did warn us in advance that there are sensitive subjects that will be discussed. I didn't think they would go there so bluntly. As I said in the little text thing at the top of the screen when it actually happened, that terminology never comes up again for the entire rest of the LP. So there's at least that to be thankful for, but this certainly shows a side of Luke that I really didn't think we'd see at all, let alone in public. But rest assured, we are not going to be hearing that kind of thing from Luke again. So at least we have that to think about. Let's go back to maybe the spooky ghost story, please. Until next time, everyone.